I am going to start, though, with the Astra Militarum.
All right, you got pictures for me?
I do have a
Perfect.
picture for you. So the Astra Militarum is the main body of the military of the Imperium of Man. It is the everyday human. So typically, they're 6 foot tall men and women that go out there and fight the horrors of man and are the
frontliners right there too?
They're the frontliners.
Yeah.
They defend from everywhere. They have flak armor that, if you were to look at it from our standard, is really damn good and will protect you from bullets and very high tech, but it is jokingly called a t-shirt because it does absolutely nothing for any of the insane weapons that exist in the 40k universe.
So are they like a weak army?
I'll get there.
Okay.
They also have a high-powered laser gun called the lasgun that can blast craters in concrete, remove limbs in instants, never falter due to wear. It can be thrown in the mud, run over by tanks, can be recharged by sunlight. And all of that is to say it is the weakest weapon in the galaxy.
Okay.
It is called a flashlight.
All right.
That kind of gives you, just to start off, an idea of that's the power.
So you started with the weakest faction, didn't you?
I'm starting with the weakest faction.
I expect my girls to be at the end.
But the point is not that they're the weakest, or that one is the weakest. It is the fact that when the Guard, because they're also called the Imperial Guard, are deployed, they are deployed in millions. They don't have to have the strongest gun because there are hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands of shots a second.
Okay.
So it's a flashlight, but if any man who does not fear the power of the lasgun has not had to run through a field of thousands of them. To quote, the Demolisher, the Vanquisher, even the mighty Death Strike missile launcher pale in comparison to the sheer firepower of trillions of lasguns unleashing hell in unison. So they deploy, and they also, it's got some kind of World War I, World War II vibes, because when they deploy their...
They look like it, just based on the picture you showed me.
Yeah,
like
they
the
deploy.
Front line.
Yeah, they deploy thousands of them, and they stick in with in their trenches.
Yeah.
And then they have tens of thousands of tanks that come out and just bury the ground beneath and just deep the dirt. They have artillery that's there and starts hammering the earth until it is cracking itself under the sheer weight of shells being launched upon them. The survival rate of a guardsman in his first deployment is less than 5%.
This does remind me of World War I. You know, just send everyone on the front lines.
And it's just because this was back when I was introducing it, is the idea that there are billions and quadrillions of humans.
Yeah.
Who cares about one man? The inches in a battlefield can be measured in tens of thousands of lives. So if my life, I can give it to get 1 inch on the battlefield, that is a success. The Emperor has protected me enough, and I have been filled with the will of the Emperor, because they are fully indoctrinated into the cult of the Imperium. They and follow the Imperial Creed, which is that the God Emperor is a god.
Mm-hmm.
So they are emboldened and feel like it is there. They will run into a field of Tyranids, which are bug monsters, because the Emperor protects. Now, the other thing, too, is that because it's less than 5%, the veterans of the Guard are the most steel ballsiest men and women in the entire galaxy.
How come?
Because they've just survived.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, but
just purely by survival.
Do they have special powers in the within the faction?
No,
they're just like
they're just veterans. They're
balls.
They're just hardened men and women.
They're badasses.
They are absolutely badasses. There is a story about a Catachan jungle fighter who had his arm bitten off by a Tyranid, and while they were wrapping his arm up and bandaging him, he was tossing grenades at the army. He was just like, nope. So they just wade into battle, and there was multiple different factions that kind of give you, or sub-factions and regiments. You have the Cadians, which are the typical military. like they are the ones that you see everywhere with the flak jet and the green and the brown. And they just are trained from birth to be warriors. They will break down their first lasgun when they're 5. They will fire it and have perfect shots by 10. At 16, they will be like put into war.
Yeah.
They are perfect warriors.
Damn.
There's the Catachin jungle fighters, which come from a death world where even the plants are trying to kill you. So by pure natural selection, everyone that comes from there is like Arnold Schwarzenegger jacked. Even the women have like biceps on their biceps.
Amazonian women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they have their own like style. You also have the Death Corps of Krieg, which come from a nuclear blasted death world. And they look like World War I fighters, soldiers. They have gas masks on like constantly.
Yeah.
And they have such a desire to fight for the Emperor.
Blue Bomber.
That they have to be stopped from charging to their death.
Wow. I mean, but isn't that the point? Why stop someone from charging to death if that's what you're asking them to do?
Because sometimes you don't need to sacrifice yourself so willingly. They're also ultra depressed, where they will actually bring down the morale of other regiments around.
This is the first one, right? We're talking about?
This is just the Astra Militarum. So this is all the same kind of thing, or the same faction, just different regiments within. Like they have artillery, they have tanks, they have tactical nukes that they use. When they are deployed, everything will crack and crumble beneath the weight of the guard. In the tabletop,
you make it sound really intense.
Yeah, because it kind of is. The tabletop, though, you'll have like 150 models on the table, and most armies will be able to blow through 10 of them, or at a time, just wipe them away. But there's more guard coming, constantly coming. And they, on the tabletop, they actually have artillery cannons and intercontinental ballistic missiles that you can deploy, which is dumb because their range is enough that you can fire it at the next game shop.
Okay.
So you could be playing, like it used to be, it had infinite range. So
are you kidding me?
Someone in San Francisco could call Toronto and be like, hey, I just made a shot at one of your tables.
No, dear God. Did anyone ever do that though?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? That's lame.
But it's often like there's enough range on their artillery that they can be fired at other tables at tournaments. They don't allow that anymore because it's dumb, but it was something that they could do. Now, the thing is that when you have that much death, you are constantly going, there is a type of unit called commissars. They are political officers. They are representatives of the emperor, and they are there to maintain morale. And typically what their role is to ensure that you either do the charge, you get the mission in, and you try and make sure that everyone is working together. Often during charges, it means that if you are not going to charge, you get shot.
What?
If you try and flee, you get shot.
I mean, makes sense.
Because to them, you die a hero or you die an example.
Okay, that's powerful.
Yeah.
I need to use that with my trainees. You did not hear that. I'm totally joking.
So you have those. You also have a couple other things. There are some sanctioned mutants. They're called abhumans. But there's something called the Ogren, which they're ogres, fantasy ogres that were brought in.
Different from the ogre clan, right? Or that's the orcs, sorry.
Different from the orcs, yes.
My fault.
Because these are still humans. They're just mutated a little bit.
Okay.
They're like 9 feet tall, big, burly, and dumb. Absolutely dumb. And they follow orders like nothing. They have very simple weapons because they cannot operate them.
I do good. I kill man.
There is a quote with an ogre who, boss asked me what was my favorite part of being in the guard. And I said, it was following orders, sir. And he slapped another medal on me. They are dumb. They just follow orders and they like their veterans. Yes, boss.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So that is the first faction. That is the Astra Militarum. They are the bulwark. They are the